Sechta Makos, the Avtes Amar Aleph, is starting from Chesam at Beis from the Mishnah Ha'av Goyla. So the Mishnah Ha'av Goyla Al Yidei Arigas, but the father goes to Golas through killing his son. If the father kills his son, the Shege, he goes to Golas. Nabein Goyla Al Yidei Av, and Nabein, if he killed his father B'Shege, he goes to Golas. Akol Goyla Al Yidei Harigas Adam Yisol. Everybody goes to Golas. If they kill any Yid, Yisol, going Al Yidei, and so too Yisol kills any other Yid, it goes to Golas. And the Gemara will explain what it means. Chutz Megei Teishav. Except for a gay Teisha who doesn't serve idols, but he eats today, that if Yisrael killed him, the Shegeg, he doesn't go to Golas. A gay Teisha, a gay Teisha that kills doesn't go to Golas, Ella, only Al Yedei, only through killing another gay Teisha like him. Zak the Gemara Al Yedei Haben, we said that the father goes to Golas through killing his son. In fact, the Gemara Amat, we learned in the Mishnah early on Amud Aleph Yotza Makos B'nei, excluding a father who hits his son and kills him Meshegeg, that he doesn't go to Golas because he's bringing Isaac in a mitzvah. Says the Gemara, and for the Gemara that our Mishnah is dealing with the Gomer, that his son was learning everything he had to, and the father, there's no mitzvah for the father to hit him. In fact, the Gemara Amata, you said before the Afagav the Gomer mitzvah called it. We said even if the child is learning, he's doing a mitzvah by hitting him. Only he's teaching him carpentry. So he is a teacher, but he's not teaching him Torah. And therefore, if he kills him Shegeg, by just teaching him carpentry, he's going to be Chayv Golas. The father who teaches a father's mechuyev to teach his son a trade for his panasa, to be able to make a panasa. So how could he? So that's a mitzvah. So how could he be? How could he go to Golas? The Gomer umnasa achrite. It's talking about the son already had a different trade. He had already learned another trade, and therefore the second trade that he's teaching him is not a mitzvah. And therefore, if he kills him, he does go to Golas. We learned from the Mishnah Ben Goyla Yidei Yarik Zahav that the son goes to Golas through killing his father. It says in the pasuk by Arim Miklat, Lanu Shama Komak Nefesh B'Shgaga, to run over there in Arim Miklat, anyone who kills B'Shegeg, Mak Nefesh, Batel Mak Yavit. Mak Nefesh is excluding somebody who kills his father, that he doesn't go to Golas, doesn't go to Arim Miklat, which is a stated to what we said, that a son does go to Arim Miklat if he kills his father B'Shegeg. It's not a stated. The B'Rais that says that the Ben doesn't go to Golas for killing his father is Kishit Reb Shimon. The and the Mishnah says that the Ben goes to Golas for killing his father B'Shegeg is like Rabbanani, follows the Rabbanan. Now the Gemara is going to explain what's the kavanah. What's the meaning of this? Reb Shimon according to Reb Shimon, that says Chenek Chomem Misas Sayiv. Chenek is more harsh than Sayiv, than Cherev. So you find that a son who kills his father b'mezid, he gets the Misa of Chenek, and he's chayv to Mises for killing him. One, Misa Sayiv, like any Reitzeyach. And the second one is the Misa Chenek, because somebody who wounds his father is chayv Misa b'Chenek. And somebody who's chayv in two Mises, we give him the harsha Misa. And since the harsha Misa is Chenek, so therefore he gets Chenek. So Lefish Shig is Sayiv Nitl Kapara. So he's telling you the reason why he doesn't go to Golas, because we said only somebody who's a Shegeg in something that would have been bemazed and the punishment would have been Cherev, then he would get a Kapara. Nitl Kapara, if he did a B'Shegeg, he would be able to go to Golas. But Shigas Chenek, but somebody who would have killed bemazed, then he would have been Chayiv Chenek. So if he would have done it B'Shegeg, he wouldn't go Nitl Kapara. He doesn't have a Kapara through going to Golas. But according to Rabbanim that say, we know for sure this son who killed his father is going to be chayv for two, one for wounding his father and one for killing his father. Now, for wounding his father is chenek, for killing the father is sayiv chomim and misas chenek. But according to the Mandam that says sayiv is more harsh, so then the shaila is over here. So since sayiv is more Chamos, so out of the two, he's going to get Cherev. So since he's getting Cherev, of b'shegeg she gets chasayim for. So b'shegeg, if he does a b'shegeg on a punishment of sayiv, we say b'shegeg sayiv nitla kapara. If he was a shegeg on something that it would have been, the punishment would have been b'mezid b'sayiv, the shegeg he gets the kapara through are miklat. Rabbi says you don't have a stira between the Mishnah and the Brisa, because the Brisa is not talking about a son who killed his father b'shegeg, only by his son who wounded his father b'shegeg. And this is the drasha of Makei Nefesh, that only somebody who kills b'shegeg goes to galus prat, excluding if somebody wounds his father b'shegeg, then he doesn't go to galus. Because I would have thought keeping the mezid b'katalu sins b'mezid. Somebody who does chabura, he gets killed. So somebody who does b'shegeg, not illegally. So if somebody does a b'shegeg, she also go to galus. Kamash Malak comes to Bryce and says, no, you don't say the din galus only when somebody who kills b'shegeg and not by shach chayv mises shoygin. Like if somebody wounds his father b'shegeg, there he won't go. B'mezid, even though he'll be chayv misa, but not b'shoygeg, because you're not talking about misa, you're talking about wounding. And for wounding, the only place where we say b'shoygeg is going to go to galus is by misa. We learned in the Mishnah Kogel and Al Yidei Yisrael, and Yisrael, everyone goes to galus for killing a regular yid. And Yisrael, who kills any other person, also. So the Gemara says, Hakogel and Al Yidei Yisrael, everybody goes to galus through killing Yisrael. What is he coming to include? To include Eved Kanani or a Kusi that killed the Yisrael b'shegeg, or Yisrael killed them b'shegeg, that they have the chiyuv of galus. We learned, if so, in our Mishnah, that Eved V'Kusi goyla, like how Yidei Yisrael, that Eved V'Kusi goes to galus, and he gets malchus through a Yisrael. V'chein Yisrael goyla, like how Yidei Kusi Eved. And so too, a Yisrael goes to galus and gets malchus through harming a kusi and Eved. Says Gemara Bishloime, it's understood Eved v'kusi goyla al Yidei Yisrael, that Eved v'kusi goes to galus for killing a Yisrael b'shegeg. So too, like I can understand why he gets malchus. Eved v'kusi goyla, he gets malchus, because this that it says Eved v'kusi goyla goes to galus, that's by from the Katli, that the Eved or the kusi killed the Yisrael b'shegeg. And this that it says like it's lilatya, that he cursed the Yid. Ela Yisrael, but only a Yisrael. How does he go with leika? Are they kusi bishlam go the katle? I understand how a Yisrael goes to galus because of a the kusi if he killed him b'shegeg. Ela leika mai, but malchus. How will Yisrael get malchus if you can say the latya because he cursed the kusi with the name of Hashem? Nevertheless, he doesn't get malchus because the Torah says, "V'nas b'amcha le'sayir." The Chacham darshan ba'amcha, meaning only ba'adam she'isem ma'isa amcha, only somebody who does the mitzvahs of Hashem, him is forbidden to curse. Somebody who behaves like Minhag Yisrael, but a kusi who doesn't behave like the Yidden, so the cursing doesn't apply. Meaning that he doesn't get malchus for cursing kusi. It's talking about that Yisrael testified on a kusi in front of a bezin that he's chayv malchus. And this Yisrael was Muzam. These two Yisraelim were Muzam. So now we have to do kasher zam and lasis. I mean, they get malchus. They give us and doimelazer by Eved that gets malchus. If he testified on a Yid falsely that he's Chai Malchus. So we do to the Eved what like they wanted to do to the Yisrael. Like you want to Eved by Eidasu is a Eved the shy to say any testimony. He's not kosher Eidus. And over here it's talking about that a Yid hit the Eved V'Kusi or they hit the Yisrael Hakab, such Hakab which doesn't have the word of a Shava Pruta. And the Rabbi Yami, for Rabbi Yami, he said the name of Rabbi Yechon, he called. if a person hit his friend, Hakosha Bashav Pruta, that doesn't have the worth of a Pruta, Loike, he gets Malchus because he was able on the Isa of the Torah, Lo Yosef Pen Yosef, that he's going to add in the Malchus. And the Tana of the Braisa holds, we don't compare the din of Hakav hitting to the din of cursing. And therefore, even if Yisol curses a kusi, he doesn't get Malchus because he's not doing Maisa Amcha. He doesn't behave like a Yid. Nevertheless, if you hit him with a Hakav that doesn't have the worth of a Pruta, he does get Malchus. And that's what the Braisa is talking about, that Yisol gets Malchus to Abed V'Kusi, meaning if he hit Abed V'Kusi with less than a Shavah Pruta, and they too, they hit a Yid, which is less than a Shavah Pruta, they will get Malchus. Learned in the Mishnah Chutz Ma'al Yidei Ger Teisho, except for Ger Teisho, who doesn't serve idols but he eats treifas, that if a Yid kills a Ger Teisho, he doesn't go to Golus, but a Ger Teisho that kills another Ger Teisho, he does go to Golus. So the Gemara is a state of a different Mishnah. Alma, we see from the Mishnah, a Ger Teisho has like a din like a guy that he does. If a Yid kills a Ger Teisho, there's no din Golus, and he doesn't go to Golus to killing a Yid, meaning rather he gets killed, and Yisol doesn't go to Golus if he kills the Ger Teisho or a guy. In fact, say, look what it says in the Sefer. It says in the Sefer of the Mishnah, Ger Teisho go al Yidei, Ger Teisho, the Ger Teisho killing another Ger Teisho. It says he does go to other miklat. And for the Gemara, Amrav Kana like Kasha, Kan, the Ger Teisho, Shara Ger Teisho. There, when we said a Ger Teisho goes to Golus, is talking about a Ger Teisho that killed another Ger Teisho. Kan, and in the Reish where it says he doesn't go to Golus, rather he gets killed for killing a Yid, is the Ger Teisho, Shara Ger Teisho. Talking about a Ger Teisho that killed a Yid, that he doesn't go to Golus, rather he gets Misa. The Gemara brings it brings the words of Rabbi Kahana to answer the study of two psukim. There's a two psukim that contradict one another. See, Levnei Yisrael says Levnei Yisrael Agel Atesh B'Sechel Tiyana Sheish Harim. It says for the Levnei Yisrael and Agel Atesh, in them the midst should be 6 cities of refuge. See, V'Hay Lachem Harim LaMiklad, and then you medai from the words Lachem. Only to the Bnei Yisrael it should be Arim Mikra, V'Loi Lagedim, and not for Gedim. In the first pasuk it says V'Lagedim Atesh also. And for the Gemara, Abraham Kana like Kasha. This is not a Kasha. Kan, the pasuk that excludes Gedim from Arim Mikla, from Dingolas, is Begetesh Shahar Yisrael. It's by Getesh that killed the Yid. Kan, the pasuk that includes a Getesh that he's going to be Chayv and Golas, is Begetesh Shahar Getesh. Is a Getesh that killed another Getesh. In fact, the Gemara Mino Al Isyakash in the words of the Braisa that deals with Bnei Noach, that was Abraham the Shemitz Bnei Noach, which they're commanded. If they were able to Chayim Misa, and the Braisa says Lafikoch, since the Chayim Misa, if they're one of these mitzvahs that they were Nitztabim, that they were commanded, then Ger Teisha, Evtke Chamsha Hargo, even B'Shayek, Na'aragim, they get killed, because they didn't by Bnei Noach. They don't need Asal before the Aveda. Only even if they did it B'Shayek, they get killed. So we can learn now from the words of the Braisa, the Ketani, that we learned, Ger, Dumi David Gecham, Ger is similar to the din of a guy. Just like a guy, it doesn't make a difference if he killed B'Shayek, his mean, or a guy like his, whether he killed B'Shayek, somebody who's not B'Mina, the Adam Yisrael, Nerak, he gets killed, Avger, Leishnam, the Katal B'Mina, Leishnam, Katal B'Mina, it doesn't make a difference if he killed his own type or he killed a Yisrael, and he still gets Nerak, he gets killed. So this is steer to what we said, a Ger Teisho that kills another Ger Teisho only goes to Golus. Amar Abchiz the Lake Kasha Khan, the Mishnah says, is talking about Shahar Agai, that the Ger Teisho killed his friend B'der Chirida, and therefore he goes to Golus the Khan, and the Braisa that says that he doesn't go to Golus, it's Shahar Agai B'der Chaliyah, that he killed him on B'derech Aliyah, like we learned in the two blot ago, that when he kills somebody on the upward motion, he's going to be potter. The Gemara explains the sibah of the chilek. Derech Yehida Yisrael Gali. Derech Yisrael, that if Yisrael kills his friend, B'shaygi B'derech Yehida, he goes to Golas. Iyunami. So too, a Ger Teshuvah that kills his friend, B'derech Yehida, Sagile Golas. Then all he gets is Golas if it was B'shaygi. But Derech Aliyah, the Yisrael potter. But if he kills it in the upward motion, a Yid kills another Yid, B'shegik in the upward motion, and then he's going to be part of Migolas. But the Ger Teshuvah that kills his friend, the Derech Aliyah, in upward motion, Derek is going to be killed. In fact, you wonder what? Amalei Rabba said to Avchizla, Avkava Chaimahu. He should be for sure Pater. Avkava Chaimah should be Pater. Ma Derech Yerida, Ma Derech Yerida, which is the way of killing, which is more Chamor. We say the Yisrael Gullus, the Yid goes to Gullus. And we said a Ger Teshuvah also goes to Gullus. It's enough. He doesn't get killed, which is the more Chamadik way, because that's the regular way of killing. And we said even a Ger Teshuvah does, but that he kills his, another Ger Teshuvah, he's only going to go to Gullus. But Derech Aliyah, the Yisrael, if he killed with the upward motion of a Yid, Potter, should the Ger Teshuvah be killed? Yisrael that kills his friend B'derech Aliyah, Potter Megolus, Iyo Nerek, Yehei Ger Teshuvah Nerek, should the Ger Teshuvah be killed? For sure not. It's much lighter. If a Yid is Potter, he don't go to extreme and kill the Ger Teshuvah. If he does it the much harder way, Derech Yerida, he only gets Golus. Derech Aliyah, for sure, you shouldn't get Golus. Allah Amar Rava, only Rava says, Ba'ina Mutter, it's talking about Ger Teshuvah, the thought that he's allowed to kill his friend. And we're going to say what kind of cases was it. And in there, we're going to consider him like a mazit, and he gets killed. Amalei Abaya, Oima Mutter. Abai said to Rava, if he says Mutter, that he didn't know it's As La'arik, is then honest, then he's mamish honest. Why should he even get killed? Amalei Shani, Oima. The Rava said to him that I hold Oima Mutter Karu Amezahu. Somebody who says Mutter is carved to Amazah because he should have known it's forbidden to do so, and therefore he doesn't go to Golos, so rather he gets killed. Gemara explains that the argument over here, how to explain the Braisa, how it goes to the according to the Shita. Bazal Tamayu Rava, but Rav Chisda go according to the Shitas. And the Itman that we learned. So it says the Machlekes base matters, but the Ger Teshuvah that saw something from a distance, ukesaver shebehema, and that thing that he saw from a distance, they thought it was a behema, and and he killed it. He killed that form, and he thought that form was a behema, and at the end it was a man. Or he saw a form of a person, but he thought, oh, Kanani, it's a Kanani. And he killed him. And he found out that it was a Ger Teshuvah. Rava says it's Chayv. Somebody who says it's mutter to kill because he thought it was a behema, he thought it was a Kanani. He's almost amazed because he should have looked closer and at the beginning before he did the blow or before he struck. If Chisda argues, he says Potter. The Heidig is going to be Potter because Mutter Anasu. Somebody who says Mutter, he's only honest. It says HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Avimelech, if they took Sarah, Hincha Meis Ala Isha Asher Lakachti, behold, you're going to die for the woman that you have taken. My love, is it or not? B'dei Adam. That he's going to die B'dei Adam. Says the Gemara, even though he said Mutter, he said because he thought it was only the sister of Abraham. So you learn out from here that somebody who says Mutter is Karol Amazing. Not like Rav Chisda who says Anasu. Says Gemara, loy, you have no proof from here. They canami, and we could be medayik from the words of the pasuk that it was a b'dei shemayim, like it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to have Melech, that machatoi li. It says that, and I also prevented you from sinning against me, showing that it was a sin and Hashem was not. It was talking about Sheina Chet Ela Klap Shemaim, that the Chet was only according it was Lagabi Hashem. When not Bedini Adam, according to Yoshita, how are you going to explain the words of the pasuk that Jesus said to the wife of Potiphar? How could I do such a great evil thing? I'll sin against Hashem. Over there, the Chata was Rak Le'Elekim Le'Le Adam. You can say it was only a sin against Hashem and not to Potiphar. I mean, he was taking his wife. Surely he would have been Chai B'Dini Adam because she was Aisha Ish. Potiphar was Potiphar's husband, so she was a married woman. So for sure it was B'Dini Adam. Even though he says V'chatas Le'Elekim, it doesn't mean it's only B'dei Shemaim. It's against B'dei Adam. We have to say that even though he used the words V'chatas Le'Elekim, Dinei Masla Adam. Obviously, we're talking about that the punishment is Masa, his judgment is given over to the ruling of a person. Here too, in the pasuk with Avimelech, it will be explained also that it's given over to the ruling of a man. Hachanami, by Avimelech, even though the pasuk says B'chatayli, Dinei Masla Adam is talking about the ruling will be given over to the court of to the sack of a man, of the Adam. Isa Abai Rabba. Abai asked the Kasha to Rabba. It says, Abimelech said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hagoy Gam Tzadik Tarik. He says, what this nation will even kill a righteous nation? I mean, Hashem shows, he's telling Hashem that he's a tzaddik because he didn't know that it was his wife, Avram's wife. He thought. And it seems like Hashem was made that it was to his taina that it was a mistake. So you have to say that mutter was honest. Says you want to know Hasam b'dekah mahada he love it. There it's talking about the Hebrew answer on his tainas, not that he was made to him. It says Ata Hashav Eishasish Kinavihu. He says now return the married woman to her husband because he's the man that you took it away from as a Navi. So is it only because it's the wife of a Navi that he has to return it? The Lav Navi like Ta'ada, but if it's a wife of a non-Navi, of not a Navi, he's not able to return it. Only Ella, Yom Rabbi Yishmael ben Achmeni. Yom Rabbi Yishmael ben Achmeni, Yom Rabbi Yonasan. That Rabbi Shmuel ben Achmeni said the name of Rabbi Yonasan. Achi Kamalei. This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Avimelech. Now we turn this married woman to whether he's a Navi or not. Ayu the Kamed Hagoy Gam Tzadik Tarek, that you're going to kill a righteous nation. Your taina was, but he said to you that he was my sister. So I'm letting you know it's a shmacha taina. Because Avram Navi, Avram was a Navi. Mincha Lamat. From your words, he learned that he had to say it was his sister because the minhag ha'olam is achsanoi a host shabala. I'm sorry, guest shabala that comes to a city aliski achilu ushtiya shayil neisay. The only shayla that you ask when a guest comes into town, you ask for but again to eating matters of eating and drinking, whether he's hungry or thirsty. But klum shayil neisay. Ishtacha zu af achescha zu. But does a person, a host, ask, is that your wife? Is that your sister? Avram understood from this line of questioning that you're planning to kidnap his wife. And that is the reason he said that Sarah is his sister. Because he was afraid that you might kill him in order to take her away. The Gemara concludes, Mekan shekiber neyach nerek alms. Here we learn out that a ben neyach gets killed because he should have learned derech eretz. He should have learned that it is aser, and he didn't learn that. He didn't learn the way derech eretz, the normal way of life, and the normal way of questioning. Sagt the Heilige Mishnah, assume a blind person that killed b'shegeg, ain't a goyla, doesn't go to Adam Mikla. Rabbi Yehuda. Those are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Meir ain't a goyla. Rabbi Meir says he does go to Golas. A person who hates, who's a hater of his friend, who he killed b'shegeg, ain't a goyla, he doesn't go to Adam Mikla. Rabbi Yisrael, a person who's an enemy, Nerak, gets killed in Bezdin, because he's like a person who was already won. Rabbi Shimon says there are ways Shasena that even an enemy Goyla goes to Adam Miklat. Yes, Shasena ain't a Goyla, and then there are cases that the enemy who killed his enemy doesn't go to Goyla. Zaklal. Kol Shehu Yachel, any even of Ariga that you can lema Shaladas Hu Harag, that you're able to say he did it b'kavana, then ain't a Goyla. He doesn't go to Golos because he's choshed that he taka killed intentionally. But the chol shaloi ladas harak. But any case where you know for sure he didn't, he was unable to kill him intentionally. Harisa goyla. Then he goes to Golos, meaning it was impossible for him that you could see from how the killing happened. It was definitely not with the kavanah. So then he goes to Golos. Gemara brings the Braisa that explains Machlokes of Rabbi Yehuda b'negei Suma. That Rabbi Yehuda said a Suma doesn't go to Golos, and Rabbi says he goes to Golos. Tony Rabbanan, we learned the Braisa said in the pasuk, "B'lo re'ois," without seeing from to begin with, and we learn now from the words of the pasuk, "Prat l'Suma," excluding a Suma that he doesn't go to Golos because it's mashma from the words that only here that the Hoyrek didn't see the Nerg. But B'derech Klal, he's able to see. So therefore we exclude a Sumam that can never see. Different Rabbi Yehuda, that he doesn't go to Golos. Those are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Meyayma, he says, B'loy Re'ois, L'Rabbi says HaSumah. B'loy Re'ois includes a blind person that even if he killed B'shegeg without seeing, he still goes to Golos. In fact, you want my time in the Rabbi Yehuda. What is the reasoning of Rabbi Yehuda that he excludes a Sumah? And he doesn't explain like a mayor that this pasuk is coming to include Suma. And he will come with his friend to the forest, to cut wood. So it's mashma in the words of the pasuk. You're dealing with any person that comes to the forest. Even a blind person, if he killed b'shegeg, he's going to go to Golos. Since this pasuk is including a Suma, you have to say, also b'lei re'ois me'atei. So when it says B'loy Re'ois, that this time he didn't see, which means other times he could see, is excluding a Sumah that will not go to Golos. That's according to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Meir, how does he learn from the pasuk B'loy Re'ois to include a Sumah that even a blind person will be chayiv? It's already Nesaba from Vasha Yava Esaheyu Meyar is including, he will come with his friend into the forest, including even a blind person. And then B'loy Re'ois is a second time, obviously, it's excluding a Sumah. And the Gemara, no, Rameya says B'loy Re'ois is Lemayit. It's excluding a Sumah that doesn't go to Golos. But since it already says Hashayake Esaheyu Bivlidas, that he will hit his friend without intention, Lemayit, it's coming to exclude a Sumah that he doesn't go to Golos. So you have two miyutim excluding a Sumah. Havimiyat achamiyat. It's two exclusions, and the klal is sheimiyat achamiyat elul rabbis. When you have one miyat and another miyat after the first one, a second miyat after the first one, it only comes to include. That's why Reb Meir says it's including a Sumah that if he kills b'shegeg, that he's going to go to Golos. With Rabbi Yehuda, that he says you do exclude a Sumah. Why doesn't he hold like Reb Meir? So he says, Rabbi Yehuda will say that the words "b'vlidas" is not coming to exclude a Sumah. Pratlim is kavan hudasa. He's coming to exclude somebody who had the intention to kill a behemoth and he killed a man, like we said early on. So that's what it is excluding. That in such a case he doesn't go to Golos. So you don't have two miyutim for Sumah. So therefore, it's one miyut for Sumah to exclude the Sumah, according to Rabbi Yehuda. We learned in the Mishnah, and somebody who kills an enemy, he gets killed. He's like a mu'at. In fact, but they didn't warn the killer. And the Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Yisrael Rabbi Yehudi. Our Mishnah follows Rabbi Yisrael Rabbi Yehudi. Tanya we learned in the Brayse. Rabbi Yisrael Rabbi Yehudi Hama. Rabbi Yisrael Rabbi Yehudi says Chavar Talmud Chacham Tzarech Hasra does not need a warning. Lefish le'nit nasra elhafchem be'shegel amazing. Because the whole purpose of Hasra is to differentiate between shegel amazing. That the chayta shouldn't say, I didn't know that it's forbidden to do so, and therefore. By a Talmud Chacham who did know, he doesn't need that warning, and therefore he's going to be chayav. So you see, there are times that you don't need that warning, and therefore enemy doesn't need that warning. Rabbi Shimon, yes, that there is a person who kills his enemy that does go to Golas, and there's a person who kills his enemy that he does not go to Golas. And we said anything that you see vividly that it was unintentional, then he goes to Golas. Tanya, we learned Nabraisa, Keitza. How are these cases? I mean, Rabbi Shimon, yes, there is a saying that goes to Golas. Yes, and and then there's a saying somebody, an enemy who kills his enemy, that he doesn't go to Golas. For instance, so the Braisa explains, Nipsak, Goyla. If he was letting down a pail and the rope ripped, then he goes to Golas. Nishbat, but if it slipped out of his hand, then ain't a good. He doesn't go to Golas because we're afraid it could have been done intentionally. This that it slipped, but this that it snapped is not. We know for sure it was done unintentionally, and therefore in that case, if he killed his enemy by lowering a pail and the rope ripped. It snapped. That's not his fault. I'm going to say it's a shogeg and he's going to go to Golas. In fact, not a saying that they don't go to Golas. Till the tool that they used, we had in the Mishnah to smoothen the plaster on the slanty roof, slips from his hand. And it kills the person. Only then will he go to Golas. But not if it fell off its handle. Let's say the tool had a handle and it had a piece of wood connected, and the tool was dislodged from the handle. In that case, he's not going to go to Golas. Kasha nifsek kasha nishma. So you have a stira. You said before nifsek is the one that's considered as a real shogeg. And here he says, no, if it's dislodged from the handle and it kills the person, he doesn't go to Golas. And you said by only time that you go to Golas in the second price is only if it slipped out of his hand. But in the first price it says if it slipped out of his hand, he doesn't go to Golas. It's not going to be a kash because we're talking about a different case. He says, in the second price is be'oyev. That a friend who killed by accident, and therefore he goes to Golas if it slipped out, if the rope slipped out of his hand, and we're not chayshid that he did a b'kavod. In the first brayse that we said when it slipped out, he does not go to Golas. B'seina, he's talking about it was his enemy, and therefore he doesn't go to Golas if the rope slipped out because we have to be concerned he did it intentionally. Says the Gemara, and nifs in this like kasha. So he says, the second price that says by nifsak he doesn't go to Golas is like Shitas Rabbi. In the earlier Mishnah, it says that if the iron piece of the axe was dislodged from the handle, and it killed the person, there's no Golas. So therefore, the same thing when the rope rips. And the rest, and half of it is left in his hands. He doesn't go to Golas because that's considered as if it was dislodged. But the first price where we said nivsak, he goes to Golas. Kashitz Rabbanon, that Rabbanon say no. The Nasha Abaza means that the axe, the iron piece, was dislodged from the handle, and therefore that's the case of where he goes to Golas b'shogeg. Zak the Gemara. In fact, the Gemara Leichen Golas. Where do these that kill b'shogeg go to Golas? Says the Gemara. I'm explaining you. Where? So he says l'shalosh adam shabei v'ayadin. to the 3 cities on the other side of the Jordan, and to 3 cities that are in the in Eretz Canaan. Like it says in the pasuk, it says 3 cities shall you give beyond the Yarden, and 3 cities that you should give in the land of Canaan. So that they should be Ari Miklat. As long as Yeshua didn't choose 3 cities of refuge in Eretz Yisrael, then they didn't have the 3 cities that were on the other side of the Yarden being used as Ari Miklat. So never, like it says in the pasuk, Sheish Ari Miklat. It says 6 cities of refuge that the Tiyana Lachem shall be for you. So here the pasuk is comparing all the Ari Miklat to teach us none of them could be used as Ari Miklat. Asheyi Shashton Koltes Ba'achas. Till all 6 of them are done together. And roads were aligned for them from this city, meaning all cities, to that city of Ari Miklat. They would pave a straight highway and to go to it. Like it says in the pasuk, it says, prepare for you the road and the shilashta and divide it. Divide the borders of your land. And he says, from this pasuk that you have to prepare the highways for the Ari Miklat. Umeisin Bezdin Lahem and Bezdin. I'm sorry, Umeisin Bezdin Lahem to the those that killed the Sheish Shnei Talmid Chachamim. They would provide 2 Talmid Chacham to go with this person to go to Ari Miklat. Shami Yagana, because maybe the relative will kill him baderech in the way. Vidabra Talmid Chacham may love. The Talmid Chacham will try to convince the relative not to kill him. Even the Ritzech, the killer, could try to convince the relative not to kill him because it was done b'sheikish. Like it says, and this is the matter of the murderer. So you see, Lashon Dabe, he himself can speak. Rabbi Yehuda, in the beginning, before they go to Bezdin, whether somebody killed by accident or Miklat, we make him run to the Ari Miklat. And Bezdin sends shluchim and bring the Ritzech from there and to Bezdin to figure out what happened. Somebody became Chaim Misa Bezdin for killing the Mezid. They killed him. Misa, only he came out Zaka Bedina Patrua. Then they send him home. Misha is Chaim Golas. And if they found out that he did kill the Shoigig, and he was Chaim Golas, they return him to the Ari Miklat. Shanama, like it says in the Pasuk, Shiva Yisrael Miklat, that they should return. They should be and the congregation shall restore him to the city of Miklat, to the city of refuge. Your mother brings up rice, but again to this Sheshis Ari Miklat, 3 cities of Ari Miklat, Hivda Meshbei Vayadim. We'll stop over here.